The following is a special presentation of ABC Sports.
Mondays and the United States Open have become synonymous in recent years. As Curtis Strange found out one Monday in June in Brookline, Massachusetts, when he beat Nick Faldo in a playoff. And last year at Medina, after 18 holes, on the 19th, Hale Irwin beat Mike Donald. Yesterday, Payne Stewart had to watch as Scott Simpson had this putt for bogey to tie. For the fourth time in the last 7 years, America's national championship will be decided on a Monday. ABC Sports and the United States Golf Association proudly present the playoff for the 91st U.S. Open Golf Championship. And this is how it was at 12:30 Central Daylight Time at Hazeltine National Golf Club on the first hole. Payne Stewart.
He was very relaxed in the locker room, Roger. He was getting a rub down, still wearing that back brace. It's actually an elastic metal fitting piece of equipment.
And Payne hit his tee shot right down the middle of this par 4. Now Scott Simpson.
Thought he was very relaxed too. He was talking to Payne. Their lockers are in the same area of the locker room, talking to him about going to the Irish Open this week. Payne Stewart's going to play in Killarney this week. They both seem very calm about the whole situation. Neither one's ever been in an 18-hole playoff before.
Scott Simpson also hit it right down the middle at the first hole. But David, his second shot went into the back bunker. And this is the third shot for Scott Simpson.
Get in the hole!
That's got to be a little sign of nervousness there, Roger. That is not a very good shot. I know it wasn't an easy shot by any means. He's going almost straight downhill, but that's not what you want to do on the very first hole. And from the same angle, Payne has his chip out the tall grass.
This is his third shot. Payne would make his putt for par there at the first hole. He's made a lot of good par putts over the last couple of days. Now, this is Scott Simpson. This long putt for par. And these greens, David, are USGA fast today.
I think the golf course is now the way they had it on Wednesday, just before the rains came.
So, Simpson would make a bogey there, and he would be one back after the first hole. Now, the second hole, the Stewart putt for birdie from the fringe. And look at, he's got the toe of the putter, which he's using, which is we saw him do at 18
This
yesterday.
is the third time I've seen him do that I can remember. He makes an extra start putting this way with this line birdie on this hole.
And he would make that putt for par at the second hole. Now, Scott Simpson. This is a putt for par. It slides behind to the left, so Simpson will bogey the first two holes. Now, we move to the fifth hole. Of course, the fifth hole, 412-yard par 4. Second shot. They both parred 3 and 4.
Beautiful second shot there. I think on the most difficult pin position there. Anytime it's short, a lot of people think that's easy, but that is the smallest area to shoot to on the green.
Now, this is the fourth shot for Payne Stewart at the par 4 fifth.
Good bunker shot there. We haven't seen a lot of good bunker shots out of these bunkers this week. They've been a little harder to play than you usually see on tour.
Of course, Payne made that for his bogey. Now Simpson for birdie. And we had a two-shot swing and we're even after 5 holes. Now they would both par the 6th hole. Now at 7. 518-yard par 5, Simpson for birdie. And Payne Stewart would make his par as we come to the 8th tee, the par 3. This has been a difficult hole all week.
It's a great golf hole to not be overly long. Of course, you've got water, bunkers, and wind. You've got it all.
Look at that. We saw that must have hit a rock or something. We saw Tom Purtsuit the other day hit a rock near the water and bounce up on the green. Now, this is Scott Simpson, whose tee shot was long here, so neither player hit the green. Pin similar to where it was on Thursday during the opening round.
And the similar results that you have there from behind there, it is very fast.
And Simpson would miss that putt, and he would make bogey there. Now, this is Payne Stewart for par, and what a remarkable par this would have been after that tee shot. And it slips out of the cup. He would make it coming back. He would make his bogey. So Stewart at 2 over, Simpson at 1 over. Now, this at the 9th hole, par 4, 432 yards. This putt for birdie. Right on line. Just to even it up. And all you can do is laugh about it sometimes. You hit it so good. Now, this would be Scott Simpson for par at the 10th hole, the par 4, downhill dogleg left, 410 yards. And he would miss that, and Payne Stewart would make his par there. And we now take you live to the 11th, 556-yard par 5. And Payne Stewart, who hit a good tee shot, good second shot. But his third shot, David, obviously was not as good as he would like, because this is his 4th shot.
I don't know what he did exactly there to finish here if he was in the fairway. Just we have to assume, see how steep the slope is. He carried it on the green and brought it back off the green. That's
these greens are just so fast right now. Look at this road. Still going.
Once you get up over the hill, then it starts away from you just a little bit.
These players are even right now. And hi, everybody, and welcome to the Hazeltine National Golf Club. Along with David Marr, I'm Roger Twibell. Glad you can be with us on a Monday. Hope you can take one more day of the excitement. We're looking forward to it, especially these closing holes here at Hazeltine National, David, because the last 2 days they've been a real nemesis for Scott Simpson at 16, 17, and 18. Last 2 days he's made 2 bogeys on Saturday and Sunday through those last 3 holes on each of the days.
Well, according to form, it actually shouldn't have gone that way. Simpson's known more as a plotter and a very consistent player, and you would think he'd be parring those holes while he did bogey 16 and 18 on both Saturday and Sunday. Payne Stewart, on the other hand, the rap against him can be that he doesn't finish very well, and in effect he has finished very well the last 2 rounds. Now, somebody better have a lead going to 16, 17, and 18 today, because you're going to need it.
Well, they say there's no lead big enough. As we take a look at Scott Simpson right now, this is for birdie at the 11th hole, and it just trickles by. Good recovery by Scott. So Scott Simpson will have that for his 5. And Payne Stewart now will have this par putt. And we have watched Payne the last couple of days make a number of par putts, David, but a lot of the birdie putts of equal length or less he has not been able to get in the hole.
But it was on the wrong side of the hole, too, Roger. The thing that can happen to you in an open, you might hit an absolutely marvelous shot 6 feet above a pin like you did at 17 yesterday, and have a putt that you really can't take a run at, where if he were 10 feet below the hole, you'd have an easier putt. So much depends on where your ball finishes as to what you can try to do.
Now Payne Stewart, this putt for par. Keep this playoff even.
Wonder how that caddy knows to stand right there, huh?
They have an unusual knack for that, don't they? There we go. I would like oh, I don't know, a couple dollars for every one of those he's made the last 2 or 3 days. Par putts. Payne Stewart has been proficient at them. As a matter of fact, David, he's made more pars than Scott Simpson has this
again,
week.
That surprises me. Of course, this man has putted well all week. Talking about Scott Simpson.
So Simpson makes his par, and through 11 holes, both are at +2 even in this 91st U.S. Open Championship playoff. And now let's go out to Bob Rosberg. Bob?
Thank you, Roger. I'm out here with Judy Rankin, and we're going to be covering the last 7 holes. Judy, we had another change in the weather.
Well, the wind is a very big factor today. It's from a different direction than when it ballooned the scores on Saturday, but it's really made the greens firm, and I believe they're faster than they've been all week.
Well, they really are, and you saw the shot that Payne Stewart hit at 8. I thought that was a tremendous break he got there because it looked like he was going to make 5 and Scott was going to make 3, but it didn't turn out that way. They both made 4, and they're still tied up. So let's go back to Roger and Dave.
Okay, thank you, Bob and Judy. And they move to the 12th hole, 432-yard par 4.
Nice hole into the wind today, Roger, and it's sort of a wide open, gives you a feeling of a wide open drive, but actually those trees are very reachable on each side there. Your second shot into this green. Now today against the wind, which is the prevailing wind here at Hazeltine, the green is a little bit elevated. Green is very firm here. You see the bunker right, bunker left, very firm on the left-hand side. This particular green, it's a very fine golf hole, slight dog leg to the right.
David, a lot of the greens here elevated in the front, and then they kind of slope down to the middle, then elevated more toward the back, and you see the front pin position there.
Well, that's the tough pin position here, and you can see how it's played during the tournament. 4.26.
Just 33 birdies, 120 bogeys at that par 4.
One eagle.
Yeah, one eagle.
Put that on your ringer score for the Labor Day tournament.
Well, it's just a little past lunchtime here in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, but that's a clubhouse at the Hazeltine National Golf Club. We're just a little over 20 miles outside of Minneapolis-St. Paul, and the winds today, they're projecting gusts up to 20-25 miles per hour. As we move to the tee at 12 and Scott Simpson. We're told Payne Stewart has already hit and has driven it down the right side of the fairway at 12. And that has gone left and dropped down into the rough, and there might even be a tree problem for the second shot of Scott Simpson. These players are both 2 over. They're even in the playoff of this 91st United States Open Championship at the Hazeltine National Golf Club in Chaska, Minnesota.
I can take the fairway. I'm already here. Okay, Bob.
Bless you. Bless you, my son. Hand me my pen there, Charles. Thank you. Hey, don't give it to her. David, give me those par 3s.
Yes, 198
Okay.
and 186.
Alrighty. Yeah.
Get him, B.
Okay.
Yes. We see him. I'm not quite to the green yet, but I should be there. I'll be there before they hit. The crowds are huge.
And we welcome you back to Hazeltine. That's the tee shot of Payne Stewart at the 12th hole, 432-yard par 4. You know, Payne usually wears colors of an NFL team, but since the Vikings never won a Super Bowl, he's wearing Super Bowl shirt in the Super Bowl to be played here in 1992. So there we are through 11, both at +2. And Scott Simpson's situation out there at 12.
Scott's in the left-hand rough. The trees do not bother him. However, he has a kind of a lie that I believe he can get enough of the club on the ball to reach the green. He's 195 yards, but it's going to come out hot, and if it lands short of the green, it'll run up on there. Hard shot, though. A little different from the poles he hit yesterday. This was more of a duck hook. It really didn't go anywhere.
Huh. He was tied for 9th in fairways hit in regulation during this championship, 38. Stewart tied for 5th, hitting 42 fairways.
One thing I like about this course, though, and the redesign of it after it caught so much criticism in '70, was you now have openings in these greens in front. And on a windy golf course, you need that. So if you are coming out of the rough and you do have a reasonable line, you can make the shot, you can run it on the green. I think it gives a player a chance, and it's a good test.
Scott's got a 5-iron. And try and fly it out of there and let it run up. And it's hot. It's right at the opening.
Terrific golf shot. It's good to see that kind of shot, isn't it, David?
Well, it is, and it's so often in the new courses in American golf, there's always a bunker or a lake or something in front, and that shot doesn't get seen or played very much.
Now, Payne Stewart.
Payne is 166 yards into the breeze. Slight uphill lie. Just a nice 6-iron. This ball should stop when it hits the green.
Come in, babies.
Well, only one man hit more greens in regulation during this Open Championship than Payne Stewart, and that was Fuzzy Zeller. Well, I had a chance earlier to speak to the president of the United States Golf Association, Grant Spaeth, and here's that conversation. Well, Grant, we've got our 4th playoff in the last 7 years. Once again, the age-old question comes back. Is the 18-hole playoff on Monday the way to do it?
Well, I think if the test is what is a fair, sensible way of identifying who is the champion is between two people, a full playoff, 18 holes, is the way we play golf. As you know, since the beginning of the USGA, we've had a full round, not an abbreviated thing, 36 holes. So I'm very satisfied it's the fairest way for people to compete.
Yet you bring in other factors. You bring in the course, you bring in the fans, you bring in television and such. Is it fair for all of those other things that are on the periphery of this championship?
It gives me pause and concern, no question about it, particularly the club. My goodness, the volunteers, 4,000 or 5,000 volunteers have to spend an extra day. And that's regrettable, but it's a golf championship of the United States, and I can't see any better way of doing it, admittedly, with some price paid by these nice people out here.
Well, the people have been terrific out here this week, and the crowds, David. Rossi, have you made your head count yet?
Well, they tell me there's 35,000 here, and that's a lot of people watching one group.
Yeah, sure is. Well, we've got a lot of people sitting up around 18, too, just waiting for them to come.
There were people at 16 at 10 o'clock this morning waiting at that hole.
All right, Bob, the green so far today.
Very, very quick. Probably the way the USGA wanted them for the whole championship. I think they're back to where they were Tuesday.
And, of course, the key with open greens, David, is keeping the ball on the most favorable side.
Well, if you can,
Yeah.
of course, the advantage there looked like it was Payne Stewart. He's in the fairway. That's why hitting the fairway is so important. But Scott plays a marvelous shot out of the rough and runs it up. It takes some imagination. Chris Haig, the superintendent here, and his crew have done a wonderful job. And Bob, he told me this morning that on the stimp meter, the greens were about 13, so they're almost a foot faster than they were after Wednesday's round.
Well, that's right. And what you said, David, is that if you can possibly get the ball below the hole, that's the place you want it. But Payne Stewart hit a shot at the 11th hole and tried to keep it underneath the hole. It sucked back about 50 feet. It just got trickling down the hill and never stopped.
Yeah.
We're
So
looking
it's hard to do.
Bob, we're looking at 16 right now, and there's already, as David mentioned, you know, people out there at 10 this morning. The grandstands are full, and then this is 18 up here. Of course, 16 is where the action has begun the last couple of days. Scott Simpson has bogeyed 16 both of the last 2 days. Hale Irwin has made par every day, including, what do you think, about an 80-footer on Saturday?
Yeah.
And the pin is all the way back today.
That's a very scary golf hole. Your drive and your second.
Now, Payne Stewart, this putt for birdie.
Putt's very fast. It's going to come to his left just a little, but the greens are so fast the ball really isn't breaking much.
I don't think that playoff record really applies to this in a sense. Those were all sudden death playoffs right after a tournament. First time either one's been in an 18-hole playoff.
Oh, he had a birdie putt lip out at 9. That one resting right on the edge at 12.
Made a good putt at 11, though.
For par.
That's right.
Yeah. Now, Scott Simpson.
Scott's got a putt coming down the hill also. Putt that looks like it's going to go to the left, but I think that possibly it might try and get back to the right at the end. It's not going to do a whole lot of anything.
So the 12th hole finds both of these players making par 4s as they move to 13. Par 3, measuring 198 yards today, 204 yards in the card. David, this has been the toughest hole for everybody.
Well, it's a doggone good par 3, Roger. It's got plenty of length. Of course, the lake on the left, you shouldn't see, and you haven't seen too many players in there this week, but a green that reminds me of Wingfoot, a Tillinghast bunkering job there, where it's a narrow entrance in the green, gets larger toward the back of it. And the pin today, I think, in the hardest spot, right down front, where both bunkers are in play there. Plays a little shorter than the 204 listed for the tournament. Wind against.
This is the number of birdies, pars, bogeys, and others. Early in the week, it had been the most difficult hole. Currently, the third most difficult. You can see the birdies just 28, bogeys 124. 16 has been the most difficult. 18, the second most difficult, as the wind has picked up over the last couple of days. But this has been the toughest par 3 here at the Hazeltine National Golf Club, and Payne Stewart has the honor.
Wind blowing pretty good in the player's face right now. Roger, coming directly at him. If he really wants to swing hard at something, I think he'll take a 4-iron. If not, I think he'll just take a 3. Play a nice solid 3.
Now that wind really does. They just Mike Hicks, caddy for Payne Stewart, just threw some grass up in the air, and it came right back and hit Payne in the face, I think.
How many packs of gum did you say he took out there on the course?
He's got about 3 or 4 packs because they both chew it. Mike was saying he was working on it harder than Payne was yesterday. Payne's made 3 pars and a bogey at this par 3.
Payne has a 4-iron.
Choked down on it too a little bit, Bob. Not sure what he wants to do just yet. Looks like he's going to try to play a shot in here, Bob. He's choked down on it. Maybe he's going to try to play some sort of low punch.
That's terrific to see shot making like that, David.
Absolutely. Now, see, if he was in between clubs and he took the longer club, choked down on it, and hit it hard. And so many people will take a club and just hold it full length and then let up on it. Good shot, good swing.
Now, Scott Simpson.
Scott Simpson has a 3-iron. Not quite as long as Payne. Might hit the ball a little higher than Payne also.
All the way to the back of the green. Well, the wind's starting to pick up here at Hazeltine. The gusts out of the south-southwest today up to 25 miles an hour, which is the prevailing wind here at the Hazeltine National Golf Club. You're looking at the 9th hole right there with the grandstands empty, and then to the right the grandstand's full, and that is 18. We've seen the wind out of the north here, which meant that the 9th and 18th holes played awfully tough. Today the wind coming across, if the players were standing on the tee at 18, would be from their left to right. Now this is Payne Stewart, Scott Simpson, both at the par 313.
Simpson has a putt of about 50 feet. The ball is going to start breaking to the right, and once it does, it breaks off that little hump that runs through the middle of the green. It's going to be very, very fast and will break quite a bit to his right.
So what would you say a good putt would be from there, Bob? How close? You know, provided he doesn't make it, obviously.
If he could get it within 3 or 4 feet, David, I think he'd be very happy.
Well, he's putted awfully well this week. He ranked 2nd in putting in this 91st United States Open.
He's putted well all year, hasn't he, Roger?
Yeah, you know,
stats?
Rossi, I'm impressed, I think, more with the speed of his putts. He never leaves himself too much when he does miss. It reminded me when Faldo was playing so well a year or so ago.
He hasn't won since the Atlanta tournament in 1989, and he's played consistent this year and hasn't won. Best finish was a tie for 3rd at Dallas. Let her slow down now.
He just putted it right through the break. He didn't give it a chance to break, and he's run it about 7 feet by.
I had a chance to talk with both of these players concerning the 18-hole playoff on Monday for this U.S. Open Championship, how they felt about it.
Well, like I said yesterday in the press conference, I think that the fans that were out here and been out here all week long deserve to see a champion crown yesterday. And there's a lot of inconvenience caused because of this 18-hole playoff today. But like I said before, I'm glad to be here and have a chance to win the golf tournament. So, it's not like I'm going to go out and play Scott match play, because it's not a match play deal. It's a medal play, low score wins today, and so I'll be trying to shoot as low as I can.
Well, it doesn't really matter to me. I guess everyone knows that if it is a playoff, we go to Monday, so I was kind of prepared for that if it came down to that. But I'd say my preference would probably be just to go ahead and get it over with on Sunday. Something like the British Open, like a 4-hole playoff or something like that. But in the same token, I'd I didn't exactly have the momentum the last 3 holes, so, you know, I don't mind going today. Maybe things will turn around a little differently.
Well, the consensus is they're both real glad to be here. Now Payne Stewart for birdie.
And that also runs about 5 feet by.
Oh, he even caught the lip with that one. I think that's one of the things, David, that impresses me so much about, you know, these professionals is the adjustments they can make from day to day, as far as the speed of the greens, the variables, and the wind. These greens really much faster today than they've probably been all week.
Well, they knew that as soon as they came out and they saw the wind and the sun. The wind's been blowing down pretty hard from the same direction for 2 days. So they know the wind drives the greens out. They know it's going to be back to where they were or even faster than they had it during the practice rounds on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Scott Simpson now this putt for par. So a bogey.
Another 3-putt.
Scott Simpson, the first bogey he's made on that par 3 this week.
You know, Roger, they're going to say, well, to one of them's 2 over par, and now Scott's gone to 3 over, and everybody's going to be talking about the pressure. But I think this is just a real hard golf course right now. I don't think the pressure has a whole lot to do with it.
I agree with you, Bob. I think having a chance to talk with both of these guys before down in the driving range, they looked down there, they said, man, this wind's blowing today. This is a lot different golf course. And they related back to earlier in the week when the conditions were just about like this last Monday and Tuesday.
And wind is actually what drives scores up anyhow. You knew, and they knew, 72 would be a wonderful score to shoot today.
Now Payne Stewart for par is to give him a 1-shot lead. Nice pace on that putt by Payne Stewart. He just caught the left-hand side of the cup and rolled down in. And Payne Stewart, as they leave 13, has a 1-shot lead over Scott Simpson in this 18-hole playoff for the 91st United States Open Championship. And they move to 14, David, a short 357-yard par 4.
Short, and a lot of the players have been using irons off of this tee. Some maybe with fairway woods. You want to lay up just short left of that bunker you see on your right there. And there's a tree that hangs out over the fairway if you're on the left side to a green. Again, it's built up a little bit, almost the same as number 12 was. 2 bunkers there, short right, 1 medium left there. And this green is very, very firm, Roger. So if you don't put it in this fairway, you're not going to have much chance to get close to the hole.
Shortest par 4 on the golf course as the players making their way over to the tee at the 14th hole. Summary on this 14th hole through the 4 rounds of the United States Open. Right about in the middle. It's been the 11th most difficult, scoring average of 4.15, 59 birdies, 104 bogeys. A lot of 2 irons off this tee. Payne Stewart, heard earlier, had to change some plans, was to leave for the Irish Open today. That's been pushed back.
About time you start to perspire a little more about now.
He's been hitting the fairways. He's done it all week.
Get it.
Well, Roger, this ball has caught the rough, and it's going to make for a very difficult second shot because the hole is cut just some 7 paces over the right-hand bunker.
Okay, Judy, thank you. Now Scott Simpson. Also with an iron.
Birdie time.
Good swing, Scott.
And Scott Simpson down the middle. Payne Stewart looking over his second shot at the par 4 14th.
A reasonable lie in the rough. He's 125 yards from the hole, coming straight downwind. I don't think he can afford to shoot the ball at the flag. I think he's going to have to try and land it on the left front of the green and let it run up about 25 or 30 feet to the left of the hole.
Big bounce.
Well, this ball's not going to make it to the green. Some 10 yards short.
Now he really has a tough shot left.
Well, he tried to do that, though, Bob. He was trying to play it short, let it bounce in, and it didn't.
Just didn't hit it hard enough. Very hard to judge coming out of this high rough, as everybody knows.
Rossi, how far did he have there?
He had 125.
He had that beryllium wedge out.
That's a fairly weak wedge,
Yeah,
Roger, and of course there's quite a bit of wind behind. The ball just didn't fly like he thought it would.
Yeah.
Scott is 113 yards from the hole. Has the kind of a lie that I think you'll see him throw it right at the flag with a wedge.
Well, they're clapping, but very fortunate to be on the green right there.
Well, it just shows you how hard that is, and going downwind, you don't get near. That kind of pin position, you're better off against the wind than you are with the wind.
And that just shows you 357-yard par 4. That is all the hole that these two guys can handle.
That's all the hole anyone can handle. It's a good golf hole.
Tom Watson had a good comment. He said all golf course architects ought to come and take a look at this course before they build the next one. And talk about architects. Look at this swing of Scott Simpson. See how this was built, David?
Well, you ought to take a good look at this one. Very simple golf swing Scott has. He gets the club back just perfect there. Watch that left heel through the ball, the extension through the ball. And when you finish with the weight on your left side, he plays very square, Roger. By that, I mean he doesn't line up for a left to right or a right to left. He's a very straight player. And always has good balance, good tempo. And watch the bottom part. Watch his legs work here. Not quite as much as Payne Stewart does, but left knee behind it, and then he moves right back through it there. Great, great footwork, always on balance.
He's got such strong legs, David.
He does. Well, he does a lot of exercise in Hawaii. I mean, with playing with his kids, with the boating and stuff that he does. But that is a very simple golf swing and a good one to try to copy, as a matter of fact.
Scott Simpson. And now, third shot for Payne Stewart.
I think you're going to see Payne try and play a low skipping shot in here and land it right on the front edge of the green, let it skip into the bank and then trickle back down. I don't think he can carry it up on top.
Bob, does that bunker get in the way at all?
Well, not really, but he has to worry about it, though.
Right there on the shortcut of the green. So that putt for Payne Stewart is for par. The one Scott Simpson has is for birdie. Stewart leads by 1. We're at the 14th hole of this 18-hole playoff. Since 1940, 15 playoffs have been contested at 18 holes. The highest winning score was 74 last year. Hale Irwin, Mike Donald, and of course Irwin on the 19th hole with the birdie putt. Now, what about Scott Simpson's putt?
Well, he's putting back up against the hill. This will not be exceptionally fast. It's actually sort of a level putt, but even the putts uphill are really fast.
David, is this where the match play maybe comes in?
No.
I mean, no?
No. There's not going to be any match play here until they get to 17T. Because it is stroke play, they still got 16 to play. You might make anything at 16 if you had a bad shot.
But you know Payne's going to lose one. I just wondered if maybe he would not be quite as aggressive with this.
We
putt.
don't know that he's going to lose one.
Well, that's true. That we know. That's a birdie for Scott Simpson. That's his third birdie today. Well, the question, was he going to be aggressive?
Yes.
The answer.
Glad the hole got in the way is the answer. Doesn't show a lot of emotion.
Now, Payne Stewart, this for par. And this would keep it even.
You know, what does he do?
Yeah.
What you do is make sure you don't make more than 5 for sure. You try to hit as good a putt as you can.
What about this putt, Bob?
Well, same kind. It's putting back up against the hill. Almost the same kind of putt that Scott had.
I'll tell you this, he's made more par putts at this distance than he has birdie putts in this championship.
In the hole.
So that putt for 5 and a 2-shot swing here at this 357-yard par 4.
Be the second 2-shot swing too.
Yeah.
Picked up 2 at the 5th hole when he birdied. Payne made a bogey. That's why you can't think match play at this point. I mean, you can lose, you know, especially on an open course. Bogeys, double bogeys jump up very fast, and he's, you know, still working hard here just to lose the 2 shots on this hole.
Hit his drive in the left rough. Maybe catch a flyer or something. Used to look like a sand wedge of some kind, some sort of lofted wedge, and came up short on a second shot.
Bet you he wishes he'd have played that with a pitching wedge rather than a sand iron to make sure it ran.
Now this putt for bogey. A 2-shot swing, and they go to 15. Simpson leads Payne Stewart by 1.
Come on, Scott, get him, go, go!
15, 590-yard par 5.
Very strong par 5, Roger, and it's really a very narrow drive down to the bunkers and left side on play there. And to the right, you've got the woods, plus out of bounds over there. A lot of players are iron off of this tee or a 3-wood. Then you play down. You try to stay left of this bunker you see on the right side of your screen, leaving yourself somewhere, depending on how far you get or how close you get to that bunker, anywhere from 150 to 100-yard shot in here.
There's a look at the green and the pin cut at 15. 24 paces back, 5 in from the left-hand side. 72 birdies. You see that there have been no eagles at this par 5.
Well, Well, it's a hole, too. At 590, just the only a couple of guys I heard about with a chance to reach this hole.
Didn't make the cut.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, honored to Scott Simpson on the tee.
It's interesting, that last hole was the second two-stroke swing of the day.
Yeah. One iron.
It's way to the left.
It's well in the left rough, but it shouldn't really present him too big a problem with a layup second shot on the par 5.
Judy, short of that bunker.
Yes, Roger.
That was a 1 iron by Scott Simpson. We saw big hitters like Fred Couples and such the last few days. David used, an iron off the tee there.
Well, when you find out you can't reach it, then the important thing is to get on in 3 and have yourself an opportunity to make a birdie.
Payne Stewart. Also with an iron. And perfect drive for Payne Stewart, and long with that 1 iron. Welcome you back here to Hazeltine National, 15th hole, 590-yard par 5. Both of these players with 1 irons off the tee. Stewart down the middle. That was the tee shot there of Scott Simpson, which has found that trampled down area of the rough. Now, they did top this rough off today, didn't they, David?
They did. They cut it back to the original 5 inches. First time they've had a chance to cut it since Wednesday's practice round.
And there's a look down to the green. You can see the wind really starting to blow here.
He has a kind of a lie, Roger, that you could dive for. I mean, when you hit it over there, you don't expect to get this kind of lie. It's just like playing a ball off a par 3 tee. It's trampled down. It's very firm. And he has to hit a low shot anyway, so just everything goes together.
Back more, please.
Up on top past the trees there.
I would think he'd take a 4 or 5 iron and hit a hard low hook.
Left of the tree.
Up short of that right-hand bunker. The hole is cut to the left today, so the more you keep it right, the better off you are. But anything in the fairway, of course, will be all right.
It's almost, Rossi, if you're going to miss it in an open, it's almost better to miss it real bad than just barely missing it a little bit.
5 more yards.
Well, the fact that they had so much rain earlier in the week and then they had such tremendous crowds, Roger, the ground is really packed down over there. And it was in a kind of a depression where it was wet at one time.
Bob, can he see the fairway where he's trying to land, or is he shooting a little blind there?
He is shooting blind. He is taking his time. He's going up on top of the bunker. Right. Look where he's going. Going to aim it out to the right and has to hook it about 10 or 15 yards. Not a hard shot.
Lie a little uphill?
It's a pretty level lie, David. Going right at that right-hand bunker. Just don't go too far. Went too far.
Yeah, it just
Just made it to the deep rough, Roger.
Okay. Yeah, we can see it set up now. Thanks, Judy.
Make the track. More people have been up there.
I think you'll see Payne not fool around with that bunker at all. He can take an iron and carry it well over that bunker. It widens out over the bunker, so he has a big landing area.
How's the wind affecting him on this hole, Bob?
Well, it's straight behind them, Roger. If there ever was a time that somebody could have knocked it on in 2, I think that this was the day it could have happened, but I think they both played it smart.
Boy, that took a big bounce.
He may have hit it too far also. Now that lie doesn't look as good as the one that Scott has, and he's on the wrong side of the fairway.
Oh, we can see the ball.
Yeah, don't let that upper camera fool you. A lot of times you look down at that and it looks all right. Not the same player's view.
Well, the pin is cut back left, as David mentioned, so it's not a good angle. You've got to carry it over that bunker in front. And delicate shot there for Payne Stewart at this par 5. Payne won the PGA Championship a couple of years ago at Kemper Lakes. He's got 7 tour victories. Won the MCI Heritage and Byron Nelson back in 1990. And here's a look at one of the really gorgeous golf swings.
A little different. That is Payne Stewart, by the way. That's how he plays his practice rounds without the +4s on. A little different than the swing of Scott Simpson that we saw just a moment ago. This swing maybe a little more classical, a little more movement, especially in the lower part, his legs and everything. You can see his right foot drag through there as he makes a good move. Still very limber, but look how similar they'll be here. If you remember how Scott got his left knee behind it, and then he moves back to his left side. Oh, a little spin out there, but a good move through. And Payne also plays very straight, not necessarily setting up for hooks or fades. Again, good golf swing. Always looks like he could play well for a long time.
Oh, Payne Stewart trailing Scott Simpson by 1. Well, we've talked a little bit about this today. We talked to Scott Simpson about whether he plays the course or does he play Payne Stewart.
Well, probably a little bit of both. You know, depending on how Payne does, I guess, you know, or how I do, it kind of affects our strategy somewhat. But you still have to play the course because, you know, with those last 3 holes, even if you're, you know, 2 or 3 shots back going into there, you still think you have a shot at it, you know, because you can make a birdie or 2, and obviously you can make some bogeys. So, you know, even if you're a little bit behind, you still have to keep hanging in there and keep going with it.
Now, Scott Simpson, 3rd shot.
145 yards. The lie is marginal. I don't think he can take it over the bunker. Stop it on the green up the left. I think he's going to play it to the right. Try and land it on the front edge and let it run up pin high.
Well, as you heard Scott say, he kind of plays both, David. Payne was fairly adamant about just playing the golf course and not the opponent. Different perspective. It's just like a guy during a tournament who watches the leaderboard, and some guys don't watch it at all.
That's true, but you know, it's, after all, whatever you shoot there, there's no sense this close that you're match play or taking any chances. Still got a couple of dangerous holes ahead of you.
3rd shot for Scott Simpson at the par 5 15th.
Shot is hard too if he carries it too far. You see, he's got to go up a little hill there, you see. Now right where that pin is, that's just over, and it starts to slope away from you a little bit.
Good bounce.
Well, he got a little bit too good of a bounce. This ball's going over the green. David, you're absolutely right. Just right where the hole is cut, the green begins to run away from the player, and with the downwind condition, you really have to land the ball, even if you were playing from the fairway on the front third of the green.
Payne has a shot of about 80 yards, and the closer you get to the green, the harder it is to spin the ball. It's almost impossible to spin it out of this rough anyway.
Bob, can you imagine what the scores might have been really if it had 4 days rather like this?
I think 295 would have won, David.
You think he'll shoot at the flag here?
No.
Third shot, Payne Stewart.
Didn't come out very good.
Well, it just bounced up on the edge of the green, and he was fortunate there, Rossi.
He had a terrible lie, and as I said, the closer you get to the green, the harder the shot is to play.
I think advantage Simpson, though. Even though he's not on the green, he's going back uphill. Payne's got a heck of a hard two-putt there.
Well, immediately following today's coverage of the U.S. Open, stay tuned for local news on most of these ABC stations, except on the West Coast, where One Life to Live will be seen at 2:30, followed by General Hospital at 3:30. And then Saturday at 3 Eastern and Pacific, 2 Central, ABC's Pro Bowlers Tour heads up north for high-rolling action at the Seattle Open. Then at 4:30, 3:30 Central, ABC's Wide World of Sports kicks off with a triple adventure. First, basketball's Clown Princes bring their wizardries to a magical resort. It's the Harlem Globetrotters at Walt Disney World. Then they're back for another round. It's a special preview of the Mike Tyson Razor Ruddock rematch. Plus, we take you for the ride of your life, mountain biking in the Rockies. It's all Saturday here on ABC. Simpson leads Stewart by 1 shot. They're at the 15th, 590-yard par 5.
Payne's got a 60-footer here. Ball's going to go uphill for the first 2/3 of the putt. As it gets over the hill, it'll turn to his right and then be really fast coming down. Very, very hard putt to get close. Well, Simpson has a real easy chip. Scott's a wonderful chipper of the ball, and he's got a nice lie, kind of coming back up into the hill. Everything going for him.
Well, you see what he's done. Hasn't had a birdie in his last 29 holes.
From what I've seen today, too, Roger, he just really hasn't had the ball close to the hole to make any birdies. Hard to make it when you're chipping at him or you got 60-footers up over hills.
That will be for par for Payne Stewart.
And that is 15 feet by.
Well, two bad wedge shots there, or at least the second shot of Payne's got him where he didn't have much of a shot.
Now, Scott Simpson, his third stroke at this par 5. This is his fourth stroke at the par 5.
That is not very good, Roger. He'd like to have that one over again.
So he'll have that for his par, but a much shorter putt than Payne Stewart. And of course, the next hole will be the par 4 16th, which has been the most difficult golf hole here at Hazeltine National this week. And look at all those people. Why would all those folks go to one golf hole, David, huh? You think they know something?
I think there's going to be a public execution there or something.
That could be. I get the feeling something might happen at that 16th hole. Bob, are the greens such today? Are these fair greens, or are they too fast?
Well, I think that they're a little too fast, Roger. I think that 13 is a little tough, but there was nothing they could do about it. They didn't know they were going to get this kind of a day. It turned real hot also, along with the wind.
Now, Payne Stewart for par.
They're all big putts, Roger, but this would be a big one to put some pressure back on Scott.
So that's a bogey for Payne Stewart. Back-to-back bogeys at 14 and 15, and Scott Simpson now with this putt for par, which would give him a 2-stroke lead going to the 16th hole, where on Saturday he had a 2-shot lead over Payne Stewart. And on Saturday he bogeyed 16 and 17. They were even. On Sunday he had a 2-shot lead, bogeyed 16 and 18, and that's why we're here today.
Ball should move a little to his right. Good solid stroke.
2-shot lead for Scott Simpson as we go to 16. This 18-hole playoff for the 91st United States Open Championship. David, take it away.
It's a great golf hole here, their signature hole, and it's 384 yards as you see, but there's danger everywhere. They've got to carry to Lake Hazeltine there, creek down the left-hand side, that ash tree on the right, if you're in the right third of the fairway, interferes a little bit with your second shot as you play into this green that is stuck out into the lake there. No bunkers on this hole at all. And of course, Lake Hazeltine right, back, and a little bit there on the left-hand side. Big green, but not very wide. It's very deep.
Now 41 birdies, 103 bogeys, 32 double bogeys, and 14 others. Scoring average of 4.40, and one point in time the scoring average there on Saturday was almost up to 5.
No, Saturday was the hard wind here, the northwest wind.
Saturday, this putt, you think it might be for birdie? Well, you thought wrong. It was for par for Payne Stewart, and maybe the stroke of the tournament.
Thinking that guy, some guy in the gallery yelled, "It breaks left, Payne."
Tee shot. This is Scott Simpson with a 3-wood on Saturday, and just catches the rough and jumps into the real deep rough, and he would make bogey. Now Sunday, this was the 1-iron. He tried something different.
Well, the hole was a little bit different yesterday. The wind wasn't the same as it was Saturday.
David, nearly the same spot, a little farther.
If you miss, that's the side to miss on. Don't miss to the right.
Well, he made bogey there, so he's played the last 3 holes at 5 over par in the previous 4 rounds. So he told me yesterday, I said, what do you do about 16? He says, I just got to get it in the fairway one day.
Well, you got to try to get that out of your mind, what you've done in the past. That forget that. Make a good golf swing here. Just put the ball in the fairway. Easy to say, hard to do.
You won't see any woods today, David.
A little bit hard driving too, Roger. There's no bunkering down there or anything to say what can you aim at. You aim at the big tree that you see. You don't aim to the water tower. That's too close to the right side of the fairway. Pick out one of those trees and just try to swing right toward it. Started a little left.
Should be perfect.
Good. Good shot. That is perfect. Left third of that fairway is ideal.
See what Payne Stewart's done. He's played these last 3 holes at even par in the previous 4 rounds. He's made a par at this hole every day.
Well, it stayed in the fairway, but he will have to throw his second shot up over the tree that overhangs the fairway on the right side.
We welcome you back to Hazeltine National Golf Club in Chaska, Minnesota, along with Judy Rankin, Bob Rosberg, Dave Marr. I'm Roger Twibell here. This 18-hole playoff between Scott Simpson and Payne Stewart. Simpson, the Open winner in 1987 at Olympic. Stewart, who won the PGA in '89. And this is the 16th hole, the most difficult of the 18 holes here at Hazeltine National. The pin cut all the way to the back. And Scott Simpson checking out his second shot.
He has 172 yards to the hole, 136 to the front edge, and the pin is 36 back. The hole is cut there.
Bob, what do you think he'll try to do? Do you think he'll try to get all the way back to where the pin is?
Well, the wind's coming out of the left, David. I would think he would try to put it a little short of the flag and to the left of the flag, leaving himself maybe 25 feet. I think he would settle for that. Wonderful shot.
I think that's exactly what he needed to do, Roger. Not to put the lake in play at all. Just put it on the green. Make Payne have to take a chance.
Payne is 160 yards. Probably will take an 8-iron, throw it up over that tree. I don't think he can get there with a 9, although there's quite a bit of wind behind him. A little out of the left, but mostly behind.
Of course, as we look at our picture here, Bob, it looks like he's almost under that tree. How much room does he have between he and the hole?
He's 50 yards short of that tree, David.
All right.
So he'll have no problem getting up over the tree.
Payne kind of indicating, didn't realize the ball would check up on him quite that much.
No, you don't when the greens are firm. He's just played a number of hard greens in a row, 13, 14, 15. Of course, that one was from the fairway.
Huge gallery out here today. Very appreciative golf fans. I would say, David, going back to last Monday, you're looking at 40,000 a day for 7 days, and then now today out here, whatever they have, well in excess of 300,000 for the week.
Of course, he's got to try to hit a high shot here, talking about Payne Stewart. So he's aimed off to the left. You've got to go over the left. The wind is also left to right, so it's all going to help him move the ball back toward the pin. That's an 8-iron. Good long swing. You'll try to stay back a little more than usual to get the ball up in the air. Don't make quite as strong a forward move into it. Have your hands finish nice and high. If you want to hit a high shot, have your hands finish up high. Low shot, your hands finish low.
Simpson's putt is about 35 feet here, going up the hill a little, but almost level.
What about Payne's, Bob?
Payne has about 20 feet, David. He's coming at a little better angle than Scott. He's putting more up into the hill. He is definitely below the hole, and this is one of the few times anybody's been below the hole today.
Scott Simpson will have that left for his par. At 16, a hole he has bogeyed the last 2 days. And now Payne Stewart. 6-1 putts, 8-2 putts. That's what he's had so far today.
That 3 putt though at the last hole,
Right.
that was almost a cinch.
Yep.
3 putt.
Well, you think of Payne Stewart and you think of, he's a little on the flamboyant side just because of the way he dresses, maybe a little bit of a gambler. But he's been the steady man in the sense of making pars and such, whereas Scott Simpson has made some birdies. We have to go back to yesterday at the 3rd hole, par 5, for the last birdie that Payne Stewart had. He's 2 shots back. This putt for birdie to pull within 1 with 2 holes left to go.
Almost a must make, Roger. Also very important if you could make it to get within a stroke and get to the honor on the par 3 17th.
Get the guy!
Drilled it.
Did you call that in the back of the cup, David?
Yes, sir, Reed.
Oh. 16th hole's been very good to Payne Stewart. Now, Scott Simpson with this short putt for par to maintain a 1-stroke advantage going to 17. Two-shot swing for the 3rd time today. And we're even going to 17. Scott Simpson, Payne Stewart are even through 16 as they come to the par 3 17th, playing 186 yards today.
This is a brand new hole, Roger. Didn't exist in 1970. You can see the 2 lakes there. They really should not come into play. 2 bunkers short of the green, 2 bunkers back right there to a green that slopes quite a bit from back to front. A lot of slope on this green. You get beyond the hole, it's very fast.
Now, Saturday, this is the tee shot of Payne Stewart, and David, he's played this hole awfully well the last couple of days. He didn't make that birdie putt. And on Sunday, another beautiful tee shot by Payne Stewart. But once again, he couldn't convert the birdie. Payne has parred the last 3 holes, all 4 rounds.
But not the 5th.
Right, and that's where we're at.
This hole is playing 186 today, and there's one thing you cannot afford to do here, and that's knock it over the green. The pin is way back, hole cut right in the back of the green. Anything over the green is near impossible to get the ball anywhere near the hole.
Stewart's made 4 pars here at 17. Simpson 2 pars and 2 bogeys.
And to make that scenario just a little bit more difficult, the front of this green is kind of a bowl, and so the ridge that forms the back of that bowl is some 8, 9, 10 feet short of the hole here. It'd be tough to get the ball close.
That was a 220-yard walk from the green at 16 to the tee at 17, and got a feel that Payne Stewart might have just floated up that hill.
Drank a lot of water, though.
Yeah.
Say he's hopped up because he's got a 5-iron.
You the man!
That's 3 days in a row that Payne Stewart has hit wonderful tee shots at this par 3.
It's wonderful, Roger, but he's got a putt that he's got to be very, very careful with going down that hill. Give anything to be that far below the hole.
Scott has a 4-iron, excuse me, in his hand.
Birdie time!
Way left. Oh, goodness.
Well, as I said, I sure didn't think that Blake was in play. Gosh, what a bad shot. What an awful time to hit that shot.
Yeah, David, you made a point about Payne getting the tee at 17. He's hit good tee shots there the last couple days. This has been a hole that Scott has had some problems with. And this is, once again, this tee shot here at 17 for Scott Simpson. The pin cut to the right. And his reaction after he hits the golf ball.
Birdie time!
Roger, and I can tell you, that's just like someone hit you right in the stomach when you look up and see that shot.
Scott Simpson, who played the par 4 16th and 4 over par for 5 rounds, you have to wonder, coming off 16 with the 2-shot swing, how that affected him, knowing that this par 3 has been a difficult hole, as has the 16th, and Payne Stewart with the honors, and putting, even though he does have a difficult putt, and we saw that same sort of putt yesterday, David, it's a very fast putt. The fact is that Payne was there. He was within 20 feet of the pin. And the resulting shot from Scott Simpson, which found that small pond. And this is what they're playing here for.
Playing for what every United States golfer practices and plays for and works for, and not too many win.
David, he has got to go to a place to play this next shot that is really something. It's up way to the left, up in the crowd. And it's going to be terrible. It's going to catch a terrible lie up there. Although if he drops it where he is standing, the ball is going to roll closer to the hole, so he may get to eventually place it.
Well, he somehow got to figure out a way to get up there and make a 4, make Payne make 3 at this hole.
Well, if he can make 4 here, he is a magician, David, because this is a hard, hard shot.
Well, you know what I'm saying. If he makes 5.
You got to move back some more.
Grant Spaeth, the president of the United States Golf Association, out there with Scott Simpson and Payne Stewart today.
Actually, a little level spot up there. The ball settled all right. As far as the lie is concerned, it's good.
Be the 3rd shot for Scott Simpson at this par 3.
Wonderful shot. Oh, boy. That ball may not be stopped yet.
Well, every one of us who's ever played this game and has hit a ball in the water and had to take a drop and hit it over a short area like that, and you know how nervous you are just playing with friends, multiply it about 100,000 times, and you'll know how Scott Simpson might have felt. Once again, the tee shot here at 17 by Scott Simpson.
Well, to me, now remember, he pull hooked the ball there, and on this shot, it looked to me as if he may have been lined up a little bit more at the right-hand bunker. Now, he usually plays very straight. You remember I said that? His feet look a little to the right to me, and when you do that, if you're aimed too far to the right, you'll spin out. Now, a poor player will slice the ball with that sort of move. A good player, like Scott, if you spin out there, he's way left there, and look where the ball starts. A good player will pull or hook the ball, and he knows as soon as he's in that position there that it is gone. And possibly with it, the U.S. Open. Maybe.
Now, Payne Stewart with this putt for birdie at 17. You said it was fast, David.
He knew it was fast. It just wasn't quite as fast as either one of us thought.
Now, Scott Simpson has this putt for bogey. And if he could run it in, it would make Payne Stewart's little downhiller that much more difficult.
This is a putt that's really fast, David.
That's why he's playing for the United States Open Championship.
Boy, that took a lot of nerve there. What a great, great forward.
Man, oh man.
A lesser player would just go ahead and make 5 and just give up.
Now, Payne Stewart with this for par and a one-shot lead. They go to the 18th hole in the 18-hole playoff for the 91st United States Open Championship, and Payne Stewart leads Scott Simpson by 1. Welcome you back. There's the trophy for the winner of the United States Open Championship. And it lays waiting at 18 for either Payne Stewart or Scott Simpson. And David, we go back 1 year and remember that in the playoff between Hale Irwin and Mike Donald had a one-shot lead at 18.
Well, So many things are running through their minds. I said, you know, Payne's won a major. Yes, he had won a tournament since last year. He's never won an Open. Scott has.
Yeah.
Lots of things can run through your mind here. You've got to keep your mind on what you need to do. Just drive that ball in the fairway.
Wind directly behind the players. Payne has an iron.
Be there, Payne.
That has found the fairway bunker to the right. Hole's playing so much different than it has the past couple of days.
You can knock it on the green out of that bunker, though, Roger, and that's the best angle to come from.
Now, Scott Simpson. If they would perchance be even after this 18, they would just move back to the first hole and go from there. Has jumped out of the bunker into the rough.
Scott's caught a pretty good lie, and I believe Payne has a very playable lie in the bunker.
Okay, Judy, thank you. So these two men, nerves a bit frayed, physically and mentally taxed at this moment as they come up 18. One will be the champion, and let's look back at past United States Open champions.
First four-time winner.
Only 16 men have won 2 or more Opens.
And that was one of them. John McDermott, first American born to win it.
Walter Hagen.
Last amateur to win, John Goodman.
And just think of all the great names in golf who you won't see come across this board.
One that stands out, of course, Sam Snead. Wonderful player, never did win the U.S. Open.
Tony Jack
won here. Yep.
Hale Irwin, the 3-time winner, and Jerry Pate.
The hairdos through the years.
Larry Nelson had a good tournament here this year.
So did Fuzz. That was a great win at Shinnecock there.
And Raymond finished strong here this year. And there's Scott Simpson, who won an Olympic in '87. Curtis didn't make the cut this year. And that's the question. Who will it be in 1991? As we move out to the second shot, 17, Payne Stewart. Excuse me, 18. I'm sorry, Bob.
Payne Stewart, 205 yards from the hole. Good lie in the bunker. Wind blowing very hard behind him. Slightly out of his left, but I don't think it's going to make much difference. But it's very hard behind him. I would think that he could get a 5 or 6 iron to the hole right now. I think 5 would be the logical shot.
And no problem with the bunker there, I mean, as far as lip or elevation is concerned, Bob?
No, if he hits the ball solidly, David, he has no problem with that lip.
Look back up to the green where the pin is cut. 37 paces back. 10 in from each side. 9,000 seats in the grandstands around 9 and 18. They are jammed, as is the fairway, at 18 and at 9.
Ever a time to be sure, it's right now.
Hit it very solidly.
Like he cut it just a little.
And it has come to rest in that intermediate cut of rough. Short and right of the pin here at 18. Now Scott Simpson.
Scott is 190 yards. Has a kind of a lie, Roger, that it's going to come out so hot that it really doesn't make a whole lot of difference what he hits it with. I think he could hit it with an 8-iron and bounce it right on the front edge and get it up to the hole, but he may take a 7. But the ball is really going to come out very, very hot. A lot of overspin on it.
Well, he has caught the rough behind the green at 18. David, it's an area that's been walked on quite a bit because there have been a number of people who have been back in that rough, and we can see the ball from our position. It seems to be sitting up, but there's a big tuft of grass right in front of it.
It just doesn't have much green to work with there either. Listen to these people, all of them standing, Roger.
Payne Stewart leads Scott Simpson by 1. Both have a lot of work yet to go at 18 as this enormous crowd is gathered about.
I think we finally got where we wanted to be.
Stewart has made 4 pars at 18. Simpson a birdie, 2 pars and a bogey.
Payne Stewart has a chip of about 70 feet. Even though it's coming uphill, it's going to be very fast coming out of that rough. About halfway up, it'll tend to flatten out. He's not going to fool much with the line. It's the distance that he wants to worry about.
Payne Stewart will have that putt for par.
Scott's going to be hard pressed to land this ball on the green and be able to stop it out of this lie. Going to have a hard time getting the club underneath the ball.
Plus, it's a little downhill, which is going to throw it out low and a little hotter than you want anyhow.
That's right. Ideal shot, David, would be to pitch it onto that little fringe if he can land it there.
Bobby couldn't do it. He had to hit it hard enough to get it out of the line. It just carried over that first cut of fringe.
Carried over the fringe, David. The only chance he had was to play that shot.
God, what a good second shot he played, too. A little unlucky there.
I would come down to this. Payne Stewart looking at a par putt. Scott Simpson has a par putt. Stewart with a 1-shot lead. And Simpson's away. So, Scott Simpson makes a bogey at 16, a bogey at 17, and a bogey at 18. And now Payne Stewart has a lot of comfort in this short putt. The executive producer of ABC Sports is Jack O'Hara. Today's telecast of the 18-hole playoff in the 91st U.S. Open was produced by Jack Graham, directed by Terry Jastro. Technical directors Werner Gunther and Gary Larkins. Associate producer Ben Harvey. Associate director Jaime Bravo. Technical operations managers Ed Delaney, Mike Farrell, Al Fong, Jim Lasetta, Mark Smith, and Mike Webb. Assistant producer Mitch Green, and our editorial advisor Frank Hannigan. Now, Payne Stewart, this putt for par. And the win in the 91st United States Open Payne Stewart from Springfield, Missouri, who now makes his home in Orlando, Florida. Wife and his daughter.
Wife Tracy. A few months ago, he didn't know whether he'd ever be able to play again. He's off the tour for 10 weeks.
Let's go to Bob Rosberg. Okay, Bob.
Payne, a tremendous comeback on one of the hardest golf courses you've probably ever seen today.
Rossi, I don't know what to say. Pretty excited right now.
A little bigger than the first one even, huh, at the PGA?
Quite a bit, I think. Just the way that it was earned today, you know. I just kept on plugging and finally made a birdie out there on 16, and you know that helped quite a bit.
You hit some great shots yesterday coming down the stretch. You couldn't make one, and then today you finally made the one at 16. But you hit some wonderful shots aside from that.
Thank you very much. Like I said, I'm very excited, as you can tell.
May there be many more, Payne.
Thank you very much.
Let's go back to Roger Twibble.
Okay, Bob. Thank you very much. Well, that's Cheryl Simpson, Scott's wife. So a former United States Open champion loses to Payne Stewart, who wins this 1991 United States Open, and an emotional victory in an 18-hole playoff for all of us here at ABC. Bob Rosberg, Judy Rankin, David Marr. I'm Roger Twibble. Thanks for being with us.